Today's question is, what are the major issues between India-China relations? We will be explaining them. India-China relations have been complex and multifaceted, marked by both cooperation and conflict. The major issues which have shaped their relationship will be discussing one by one. First is more border disputes. The most prominent issue between India and China is the border dispute along the line of actual control. The LAC stretches from Ladakh in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east. The 1962 Sino-Indian War left unresolved territorial claims, leading to periodic skirmishes and standoffs. The 2020 Galwan Valley clash resulted in casualties on both sides and heightened tensions. Despite recent disengagement agreements, the border remains a point of contention. Next point, we have strategic rivalry. Both nations vie for influence in the region. China's Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) and its increasing presence in the Indian Ocean have raised concerns in India. India's strategic partnerships, such as the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue with the US, Japan, and Australia, are seen as counterbalances to China's growing influence. Next, we have economic competition. Economic competition is another significant issue. China is India's largest trading partner, but trade imbalances and market access restrictions have been points of friction. India has taken steps to reduce its trade deficit with China, including banning certain Chinese apps and restricting imports of Chinese goods. Next, we have cultural and political differences. Cultural and political differences also play a role. China's support for Pakistan, particularly in the context of the Kashmir issue, has strained relations. India's hosting of the Dalai Lama and his stance on the Tibet are contentious issues for China. Next, we have cyber security and technology. Cyber security and technology are emerging areas of concerns. Both nations have accused each other of cyber espionage and hacking. India's ban on Chinese apps like TikTok and WeChat has been a point of contention, reflecting broader concerns about data security and technological sovereignty. Next, we have environmental and climate issues. Environmental and climate issues are areas where cooperation is possible but also a source of tension. Both countries face significant environmental challenges, and their approaches to climate change and green energy transitions can either be a point of collaboration or conflict. Next, we have regional influence and diplomatic maneuvering. Both nations seek to expand their influence in the region. China's investments in infrastructure projects in South Asia and India's efforts to counterbalance through initiatives like the Act East policy reflect their strategic maneuvering. Next, human rights and governance. Human rights and governance issues have also been points of contention. India's democratic system contrasts with China's authoritarian regime, leading to differing views on governance and human rights. Next, we have recent developments and diplomatic efforts. Recent diplomatic efforts have aimed at easing tensions. High-level meetings between leaders, disengagement agreements, and proposals to normalize relations have been steps towards reducing conflict. However, the underlying issues remain, and the path to a stable and cooperative relationship is complex. Last, we have the conclusion. India-China relations are shaped by a mix of historical grievances, strategic interests, economic competition, and regional dynamics. While there have been efforts to ease tensions and find common ground, the fundamental issues remain unresolved. The future of their relationship will depend on how both nations navigate these challenges and whether they can find a balance between competition and cooperation.